All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to tackle one of Christianity's most mind-bending concepts. It's complex, for sure, but it's also, I think, one of the most beautiful ideas out there, the Trinity.
So it all starts with a question that seems to just break the basic rules of math, right? How can you have 1 plus 1 plus 1 equal 1? How can Christianity say there's only one God, but then talk about a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit? That's the paradox, the central mystery we're going to unpack together.
And this is where the tension is. The faith is built on monotheism, one God, period. And yet, this one God is somehow also three distinct persons. And you know what's really wild? If you go looking through the Bible for the word Trinity, spoiler alert, you won't find it. It's a word that was developed later on to try and put a name to a reality that was already all over the scriptures.
So how in the world do you even begin to define something like this? Well, let's take a look at the formal definition of this divine paradox. Okay, this phrase right here is the key that unlocks the whole thing. It was coined by an early church father named Tertullian. One in being, but three in persons. It sounds simple enough to say, but wrapping your head around what it actually means, that's the challenge. And yeah, that of course leads to the very next logical question, because in our world, in our experience, one being is one person. I'm one human being and I'm one person. You are too. So how could it possibly be different for God?
This table actually does a fantastic job of breaking it down. Think of being as the answer to the question, what are you? And person as the answer to, who are you? So if someone asks me, what are you? I'd say, I'm a human being. But if they ask, who are you? I'd give them my name. Now apply that to God. What is God? The one divine being. Who is God? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. One what? Three whos.
Now, because this is so different from anything we know, our brains immediately try to grasp for analogies, you know? We try to find something in our physical world to compare it to. But as we're about to see, most of our go-to examples, well, they mean well, they kind of fall apart.
This one is probably the most popular one you've heard. God is like H2O, right? It can be solid ice, liquid water, or gas steam, three modes of one substance. The problem is, this is actually an ancient heresy called modalism. It suggests that God is just one person who kind of wears different masks or switches modes, but he's never all three at once.
And we know modalism can't be right because of moments in the Bible like this one. I mean, think about Jesus' baptism. You literally have the Son physically in the water, you have the Spirit coming down like a dove, and you have the Father's voice speaking from heaven. All three are right there, present and interacting at the very same time. They're not just one person in three different outfits.
Okay, so what about the egg? You've got the shell, the white, and the yolk, and together they make one egg. Well, this one doesn't work either because it leads to another heresy called partialism. This implies that the Father is just 1/3 of God, the Son is another third, and the Spirit is the last third. But that's not it at all. The teaching is that each person is fully and completely God all by themselves. So, if all our physical analogies just break, is there a better way to think about this? Well, let's explore this really fascinating idea from the writer C.S. Lewis that might just be the breakthrough we need. Lewis tells us to think in terms of dimensions. So, stick with me here. A one-dimensional world is just a line. Simple. But if you move up to 2 dimensions, you can take 4 of those lines and combine them to make a single new thing, a square. Now go up another level to 3 dimensions, and you can combine 6 of those squares to make a single cube. And here is the absolute genius of Lewis's idea. The cube doesn't contradict the square. It's not illogical to someone living in a 2D world. It's just beyond their ability to experience. Each higher dimension takes the realities of the lower one and combines them in a new, more complex way we just couldn't have imagined before. So here's the point. We exist on a certain level. We are one-person beings. The Trinity is suggesting that God exists on a higher, divine level, as a multi-personal being. So it doesn't break logic, it just operates in a reality that's beyond our own.
In this whole dimensional idea, it helps us circle right back to that original definition we started with, but now, hopefully, with a fresh perspective that makes it a little easier to grasp. So let's put it all together. You have one divine being, that's the what, a single shared essence, shared power, shared eternity. And then, inside that one being, you have 3 distinct persons, the whos, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
and they're all completely equal and have all existed forever.
Okay, I know, that was a lot of heavy, abstract thinking. But this isn't just some theological puzzle for philosophers to argue about. The idea of the Trinity actually has these incredibly profound, real-world implications for how we understand God, love, and even ourselves.
And really, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful statement from the Bible. Not that God is loving, or that God shows love, but that God, in his very nature, is love.
But that raises a massive question. Think about it. Before the universe, before angels, before anything existed, if God was just a single, solitary being, all alone in eternity, who did he love?
Because love, by its very definition, has to be relational. It can't exist in a vacuum. You need a lover and you need a beloved. A solitary God couldn't be love at his core. He could be all-powerful, sure, but not love itself. In fact, if you think about it, a solitary God would have needed to create us just to have someone to love, which would make him dependent on us.
But this is where the doctrine of the Trinity just changes everything. It means that for all of eternity, before a single star ever lit up the darkness, God already existed as a perfect, joyful, self-giving community. The Father eternally loving the Son eternally loving the Father, bound together by the Spirit.
And the result of that is just staggering. It means God didn't create us because he was lonely or because he needed something from us. He created us out of a pure, sheer overflow of the perfect love and joy that was already complete within himself.
So we end on this thought. The invitation of Christianity isn't just about following a moral code or believing a list of facts. It's an invitation into the very life of God himself. And that leaves us with this incredible question to sit with. What does it really mean to be invited to join in, to participate in, that eternal divine dance of love?